Hello, everybody, and welcome to your Project 3. I can't believe we're already at this point in the semester. It seems like we've just started, but we are now starting Project 3, which is going to be your research proposal. And so essentially, what you've done thus far has hopefully gotten you to a point where you should feel somewhat comfortable with a research question and topic that you'll research that's applicable and relevant and at a level that you can investigate for your academic discourse community. So you'll remember in Project 1, you went and you found information from your interviews with your librarian and or advisor about a general sense as to the kinds of academic communication that one kind of like interacts with and completes within an academic discourse community. And so you hopefully were introduced to typical and useful database systems, journals, articles, additional resources, and given a general sense as to the citation format of your field and some research topics or ideas that are current within your discourse community. And then you used kind of that like stepping stone to move on to Project 2, where hopefully you had been introduced to a few different resources that you might have used as your launch text for finding 6 articles within your field that was related to one clear, focused research topic that's of importance and of interest to you that you were hopefully going to research for the rest of the semester. And so what you did is you found 6 articles and you annotated those articles, then you color-coded them to find out similarities between the articles, what similar conversations were happening, what similar kinds of definitions and approaches to research and suggestions for fixing that research question or problem existed between the articles. And then you made a chart in order to see visually how your articles lined up and where you could use them together, where sources could be used multiple together in multiple places within your research, and also a synthesis tree to kind of outline your research question and problem. How are you going to approach it? How do you go from a broad to more and more specific kind of investigation of that research question? And what gaps do you still have in your research? What might you need to still find in order to kind of round out this research topic and question that you have been investigating so far? So now, hopefully, you've created a framework or a foundation for the research proposal that you will be writing for Project 3, meaning you found the research, you've analyzed the research, you synthesized it by connecting articles together, and you've hopefully come up with a pretty clear game plan for how you're going to discuss and talk about this research question that you've been looking at for the last so many weeks. All right, so you'll see that in Project 3, as always, the assignments are broken into kind of mini projects that we then use to get to our final project. So the first thing you're going to be doing this week is going to be the introduction. And you'll see that I have kind of an overview of what this introduction should be about, where it is that you draw upon research that you found to kind of tell us what, just very similar to the introduction that we've been following the whole semester. What are you researching? Why is that research important? How are you going to conduct the research, analysis, whatever it may be? And what will be found from doing this type of research, right? And so for the introduction for Project 3, rather than it being a paragraph, we're going to be following a very specific template for your introduction. It has to be followed. You cannot deviate from this template in any way or you will get points marked off. And you'll see it's a page long, about a page long. Okay, as we move forward in this project, you'll see that we'll be writing a literature review and we'll have a few attempts at that with some revision built into that. And then you'll also have like kind of a conclusion. Because this is such a fast-paced course, typically we kind of have a section that's called a proposal where we propose how to fix this research question or problem. But because it's such a fast-paced course in the summer, we kind of just conclude with like a couple paragraphs about here's what I might suggest or here's what I would do if I had more time to try to like fix this issue. Okay, so let's shift over to the introduction template. All right, and so this is listed under the modules for week 6. So you'll be able to look at this. And this is something that I kind of wrote up in order to kind of give you a general sense as to what your introduction should look like, but you'll also see that there's student examples listed as well. And as always, I always give you student examples that have some really great things that are going on and some things that maybe need a little bit of work on, right? And so that way you kind of can think through like where students are usually having issues with and where you might want to pay special attention to. But they are examples that are doing some pretty good things. All right, so like I said, your introduction must follow this template. It must have these headings, and it must have around the same amount of information per heading. All right, so the first section is called the problem and its investigation. All right, so this is your what and your why. Okay, so in the first paragraph, you're going to talk about what is this research question that you are looking at, right? So in this section or in this example, this research is going to be looking at early childhood as being a critical period in children's lives for developing skills for a foundation for their lives. Focusing it a little bit more, early childhood is a very broad topic. So the first 5 years of life is a time. So this is really kind of narrowing down a particular area of childhood development, right? Then it narrows it down an even more by saying early childhood education offers the opportunity to explore their world in the context of relationships that allows them to develop, and here we're even narrowing it more down, social emotional skills. So it's been narrowed down to from all childhood development to like the first 5 years. Then it's talking about it in a more narrow sense by early child education, and then even narrow again by social emotional skills, because we cannot talk about every single thing there is to talk about with childhood development, nor can we talk about it in every single context. That's why it's in childhood education. And nor can we talk about all the types of intervention or educational kind of support systems that are available or should be available. So that's why we're talking about social and emotional skills. And then young children in early childhood programs who are 3 to 4 years old. Do you see how now I've really even narrowed it down into like a particular group set of cognitive development? Even though we say the first 5 years is really important, which they are, this research is going to look at 3 to 4-year-olds. And it's going to talk about how you can support them to build academic and social skills that they need for kindergarten. So see, it's an inverted triangle. I've gone for very broad, critical period in children's lives from the ages of 0 to 5. Then I've narrowed it down to early education. I've narrowed it down to social skills, and I've narrowed it even more to saying 3 to 4 to get them ready for kindergarten. So very nice, clear, focused. Now, what I do want you to pay attention to is that within this example, you'll see that there are the use of in-text citations, and you'll see that as we move down, we talk about kind of the why portion. Young children who attend early childhood programs are often better equipped with social emotional skills than those who do not attend a program. And here is reference. That should be coming from your Cornell annotations, right? Center-based programs are one type of early childhood environments that offer young children a place to practice these skills. So here I'm talking about a very specific location, a very specific practice, right? And again, you will see the listing of research for that kind of claim that I'm making, and I'm drawing that directly from my Cornell annotations. And you will see that I'm not just relying on one source, right? I've made connections between my annotations. I've seen sources that are talking about very similar types of information, and so therefore I'm listing every single article that I have that talks about 3 to 4-year-olds who need or benefit from learning experiences with the social component. I'm bringing in all of my research that talks about particular aspects about preschool and center-based programs and so forth. So this is what I'm expecting to see from you. All right, so then the second portion of the introduction is the statement of the problem. This is literally your research questions / problem. So it should always start like this.